You have to really reframe it. And again, don't take it personally and don't bite the bait. Right? Because they throw it out there. And remember, a kid with ADHD, they crave noise and excitement. So mixed in with that opposition to defiance disorder, they're throwing these little landmines out for you to step on so that you'll go kapow and their brain gets the stimulation that it needs. Okay? And what is easier to change? I had a situation where the teacher said, I just can't have him swearing all the time in class. Well, okay, and I get that, because you could get phone calls, although I'm amazed at how few phone calls actually come in. However, when you get a phone call, what's going to be easier to change? That child's neurochemistry or the attitude of the person on the end of the phone, right? And you can do have a preemptive strike by, before the parents call, have the big talk with the class. On my website, there's an excellent piece by Nathan's mom, Julie, who's right there's a famous mom, famous kid. Julie and Nathan have a really good presentation that they do to their class every year. And they have a handout that goes home. Because Nathan has full-blown Tourette, probably the most symptomatic child I've ever met, tics in his sleep even. And if he can get away with what he gets away with language-wise in class, he's doing okay. So it's all doable stuff. It's easier to change the perceptions of people than to change a child's chemistry, that's for sure. Okay, the OCD. Now I need to really be clear. Obsessions. Unwanted, intrusive, repetitive, sometimes impossible to control, especially in a child. When you get older and you're able to take self or personal inventory of yourself, you're more able to control stuff. Like you know when you're, well, not always, but you're more likely to know when you're going a little bit over the top on something. A child doesn't know that, so it is impossible to control. Can produce tremendous anxiety. Okay? Some of those thoughts that go through your head can be horrid or horrible thoughts. It could be based on hurting people, could be sexual thoughts, could be all sorts of things. And it's scary to think, I must be a terrible person to have these thoughts, because these thoughts are bad. But they have no control over them. Okay? So just to give you a little bit of insight, it's torture. I don't have as much of a challenge with that now, but when I was younger I did. I guess with my fluctuating body chemistry growing up, it was horrible. They can range from inoffensive, like just little things, and sometimes they can be totally intrusive and knock your day off the rails, where you just can't function, you can't perform. And again, in frequency, now and then, or it can be continuous, but they are worse when the child is tired or stressed. And stress can be a good thing as well as a bad thing. It could be, upcoming holidays, the winter break, what we call Christmas holidays in December, March break, any of those good things, a birthday party coming up. Or it could be something like change, like I'm going to Dad's house this weekend. Right? All those little things that we don't think about in the classroom. Hungry, thirsty, the temperature in the portable is too cold or it's too hot. Boy, I must be an educator if I talk like that, right? The air conditioner is not working in the portable, or you just don't have it. Okay, compulsions are sometimes called rituals, and they're repetitive, deliberate actions that occur in an attempt to relieve the anxiety caused by the obsession. So if I could just do this 3 times, then I'll be able to finish my work. Or it could be something like, something terrible is going to happen to me or my mom or my teacher, and the only way I can save them is if I step on this crap 3 times. It doesn't make any sense, but that's how it works. Totally unrelated. So at times you'll see a student doing something. So going back a slide, when we talk about rituals, where is it in there? Okay, sorry. Rituals right there. Rituals are where, you have to do things a certain way, in a certain order, all the time. Well, some people who have OCD get trapped, and it has to be perfect. That's where you get the perfectionism from. Now, I know there are a lot of perfectionists in the room, teachers. In our population, I think more than the normal general population, more teachers are perfectionists. I think OCD is probably more prevalent in our population than in the general population. That's speaking from experience, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's something called obsessive-compulsive disorder and obsessive-compulsive behaviors. Okay? Behaviors you're not disordered by them. They don't mess up your life like OCD does. In a classroom, having these rituals can be seen as defiance. Okay? I told you to close your book because we're doing math now. I know, I just got to finish. I told you to close the book. Well, what they're not able to verbalize to you is, I just need to finish this sentence. Or I just need to finish that paragraph. Or I just need to finish this page. Something there's the obsession piece in there. They have to do it just right. So that's why whenever I give my universal instructions to my class, I'll say, okay, everyone, I'm giving you a 1 minute or a 2 minute warning. I want you to finish up at the end of a sentence or a paragraph or a page. Mark your page. See, I tell them to mark their page because that's what gives them relief. Because then I would be obsessive that I'm going to lose my place. And it would distract me for the next 20 minutes, and I'd miss all my math instruction. So stop somewhere where you'll remember where to start up again later, and then you can close your book and get ready for math. And the obsessions also get in the way, and you think that's defiance as well. Okay? And it can't be controlled without conscious effort. Sometimes with kids, now these are kids who are already in the program. Like I'm talking to the parents, I'm talking to the kids, we're working together with the special education teacher, and we're starting to move this child towards self-realization and being able to take personal inventory. Then I will say to the child, I'll explain, this is what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing that you're stuck. You look like you're stuck on something right now. No, I'm not. It's the ODD. And I'll say, okay, but this is what I see. I see that you're doing this and this and this, and you're doing it over again. And I need you to be able to move on. So what do you need from me in order to move on? Teaching them to verbalize what their needs are. And as I say down there, as bizarre as they may be, it's really important to remember that these are neurologically based. And I have had people tell me, not a chance. It's behavior. Okay, some manifestations of OCD, something called looping, getting stuck on something. And this is often a behavior problem for you. I had a student who had a situation, got into a bit of a scuffle with another kid, and that was on a Thursday, I think it was. And on Monday morning, he got off the bus, went straight to that kid, and plowed him in the nose. Pow. Because he had been looping and obsessing. And it was only after post-incident analysis where I realized, wait, this is the same kid. Wait, didn't we settle this on Thursday? Yeah. Well, apparently we didn't, because he still carried through the weekend, thought about it, probably didn't sleep well Sunday night, got off the bus, went straight to doing what he needed to do. Unacceptable. Okay? With looping, in the biz, we call it the busy signal. When you pick up a phone and you dial your friend and you get a busy signal, do you talk? No, you call back later. Right? And that's what I do when I'm dealing with kids with these disorders. If they're not attending because they're looping or for whatever reason, I tell them, I'm coming back in 10 minutes. You stay here. I'm coming back in 10 minutes. You notice I didn't say, don't leave, because that would make them leave. I said, stay here, using positive language, telling them what I want them to do. If I'm going to cue their brain, it's going to be with something good. Stay here. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Same with the kids in the office. You're sitting in the office just waiting, and you don't want to make them, because what I've done in the past, before I realized it, I spun this kid right out of control. He was sitting calmly, and I went up into a frenzy, and we had to send him home. It's my fault, not his. Other manifestations of OCD are the negativism. I call it the awfulizer syndrome. the ophthalizer. Glass is half empty, I never get a full glass. This won't work, this work is stupid, I ain't doing this. All things I've heard in the classroom. The translation is, it's hard, I'm scared, I'm embarrassed, I don't know what I need to do. And a lot of that is related to the disability of executive functioning. They don't even know where to start. And in those situations, you do need to give one-on-one, and I know how hard that is in the classroom. So if you have to create some lists and organize, and make some plans with your lesson plan so that you have a few minutes to get somebody started on their work, it'll be to your benefit. Ritualistic behavior is perfectionism. Not always a bad thing. However, I have seen some kids who couldn't get any work done because the M didn't look right. And he kept tearing up his paper, throwing it in the garbage. And in this particular case, there were over 30 pieces of paper in the garbage. I counted. I really did. Maybe the OCD in me forced me to do that. But it's true, I counted because this is really cool. He couldn't get the right M on his paper. So a lot of kids, and then when I reflected back, all the kids that I saw as a special education teacher who work completion was a problem for them. And so many of them had OCD, it was overwhelming when I thought about it. Oh yeah, they do this, they do this, they do this. Oh my gosh, OCD, I could have solved that problem so easily with a computer, right? However, there are other invisible aspects. Instead of just the perfectionism that another friend of mine told me about, had a student who all the sentences had to have 10 words in them. Can you imagine trying to write an essay where every sentence had 10 words in it and made sense? Okay? So I'll throw out a quick strategy for you. So what'd you do about it? I would say, okay, 10, eh? 10's your number? Yes. Mine's 3. I have a number 2. 3. I know someone who has a number who's 4. And so I would try to get the number 10 in there. Okay, you can, let's do this. Because it's not a writing assignment as much as an information assignment in this case, I want you to give me 10 bullets. Does that help? Or just eliminate all of it and do it orally. Right? Accommodations. Okay. Other manifestations, problems with changing gears, and we know about that. Transition time. The people from the Collaborative Problem Solving Institute, they call it having problems shifting cognitive set. I really like that expression. Changing gears, transition times, all those expressions. And that's why we give lead time, okay? In 5 minutes, we're going to move on to math. And you, with some of these guys, you have to be really explicit, and you have to count down to the minute. Okay, you have 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left, 1 minute left. Okay, time to go. No, just 1 more minute. No, I gave you 1 more minute already. Okay? It's not foolproof, but it's a pretty good plan. It's a good start. So because of all these disorders, inability to complete work, unable to start tasks, they're often late for school because of the rituals that they have to do. So it might not be ADD, the time management piece. It could be the rituals that they have to perform at home. So when I have kids who are frequently late, they're my frequent flyers in the office for being late, I ask that question. Tell me about what you do in the morning. And I investigate to see if rituals are a problem in the home. Another one, I was famous for this, but I have ADHD. I was one of those go, go, go kids on a motor in the classroom, always interrupting the teacher. Could be the impulsivity, but in my case, I'm pretty sure it was because of my OCD, because I knew I had a really good point to make, and I didn't want to forget it. So I blurted out. Okay, so my solution to that is tell the child, write it down. Okay, it's a simple solution. That's why they do it. They blurt it out because they're afraid they're going to forget it. And again, it's in red there. We see that as defiance, right? I asked you to please be quiet. Stop talking. Please be quiet. Let me finish. I like the time bomb that I have there. I have a really cool story to tell you. So OCD behaviors are seen as non-compliance and defiance because it's invisible. They're not doing what you're asking them to do. Well, this is a real problem in the classroom because if everyone's behaved this way, we'd have absolute chaos in my classroom. It's invisible. So I had a student, or actually not a student, I consult at a summer camp for kids with Tourette syndrome, and I was asked to come in for one special little guy who was having a problem. So I went in, we had set a plan for the day of goals, and we had a reward at the end of the day where he was going to go swimming off the rocks. See, only the counselors have to swim off the rocks because it's really deep, it's in the Muskokas. Otherwise, the campers have to swim on the beach. So I said, okay, you're a good enough swimmer, we can do that. So we had a great day, took him to the rocks, and we dove in and we went swimming, had a great time. And then at the end, I knew it was time to leave for dinner. So I said, okay, Jordan, you got 5 minutes left. Okay, Ken, no problem. So we swam around, I'm taking it easy, drying off. Okay, Jordan, 3 minutes. 2 minutes. 1 minute. Having a great time. We've had a really good day today. Okay, Jordan, you've got 30 seconds. Okay, swimming around. 10, 9, I'm counting, and he's not moving. He's not making a move that he's supposed to be making. 3, 2, come on, Jordan. 1. Okay, Ken, comes out at the last minute. Oh, whew. I was really worried there for a second. So we'd had a really good day, and I didn't want him to blow it, because this was awesome. And as I turned, he dives in. Jordan, what are you doing? Come on, buddy. We've had a really good day. Let's get out. Gets out. Dives back in again. Now the teacher in me is really starting to think, this is defiance. This is disregard for authority. He's like totally dissing me on this. And then my mind starts thinking about, we've had a good day, he's going to blow it again. I just know it. And I worked so hard. I can't believe he's doing this to me. We had a deal, and he promised. And I stuck up to my end of the deal. All those things that go through a teacher's brain. And finally, I said, what are you doing? Come on, we've had a good day here. Let's get going. And then he checked in. I guess he saw the expression on my face. And he checked in, and he was fortunately at the point in his development where he said, hold it, Ken, I just got to do it 3 times. I said, I get it. Me too. Go on. So that just is an illustration of how important it is to be able to teach the child to self-reflect. And they can't do that at first on their own. You need to be the one who reflects. So in the very short time I had this morning, the one thing I will leave you with in helping these kids to develop and grow in a healthy way is you will have to reflect for them, what does it sound like? What does it feel like? So those are the three things I will describe to a child, a student. This is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm hearing, and this is what I'm feeling. Okay? And they won't like it at first. And their ODD will, when you say this is what, that's why I don't say this is what you're doing, because they'll say, no, I'm not. Right? And then you're going to get into an argument, and it's going to be absolutely no use. I use those strategies for reflecting and teaching, and then eventually, I get to a point where instead of telling them what I see, I'll say, how do you feel right now? How do you think you look? How do you think you sound? And then there will come a time where they'll be able to take personal self-inventory and initiate that on their own. And in my very own life, I remember having an argument with someone who I was close with, and I was at the point where I said, I know you're right, I just can't say it right now. Seriously, that actually happened. Okay, well, I thank you very much for enduring with me. It was definitely an experience today, but I'm so thankful that you are here to hear and join me in my cause of helping kids who have Tourette syndrome. And thank you so much for caring. Have a great afternoon.